Welcome everyone, and thank you ever so much for sticking around to the end. My name is Yolanda Botham and I'm the principal, and my very brilliant colleague who's with me tonight is Steve Dan, vice principal. I really wish that we could be meeting together in our usual way of doing this, which would be to welcome you to our fabulous campus. But sadly, COVID prevents that. Usually we have about 5,000 visitors, and it's just not possible. Now, what we're going to do, we've got about half an hour with you, okay? And what I want to do is try and communicate to you what is really special about Long Road. We're going to talk a little bit about the courses that you could choose to study. We'll talk about how we support that transition from school to college, all the fabulous opportunities we've got here on the edge of the biomedical campus, and we'll also, I think, just do a quick reminder about the applications process. So Steve, if we could have the next slide, please. Right, look at that. Isn't that a fabulous blue sky? It doesn't quite look like that at the moment. There's pitch black outside of my window there. If the vaccine, and as we say, we're right on the edge of the campus with AstraZeneca looming over us. If we can get the vaccine, then we really do hope that you can come and visit us in June, July of this year in the summer term and see the fantastic space that we've got. It has, I have to say, been a real asset in this COVID times. Next slide, please, Steve. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? That is our college. Those shots actually were taken just a couple of weeks ago. There aren't many colleges that boast, as you can see there, a magical woodland. Well, we can, and really do hope that we can invite you and show you what we've got in the summer. Next slide, please. So, Long Road, how to get across. The most important thing about Long Road, we are a proudly inclusive sixth form college with high aspirations for every single one of our learners. So if you're thinking about going to university, you're thinking maybe about doing an apprenticeship or going into the world of work, okay, every single student matters. We really do count in ones. And when we talk about our curriculum, I'll come back to that. So whether you come here to study level 2 art, A-level biology, applied health and social care, you are equally important to us. And our job is to help you progress onto a really exciting future. That's what we're all about. Next slide, please. So coming to college, learning at Long Road is going to be very different to school. We don't have uniforms, we don't have bells. What we offer you instead is a mature university-style environment, and where we're going to help you become a truly independent learner, really learning how to manage your own time, because that's going to be critically important to your success. We're going to expect you to do as much work outside the classroom as in it. So you'd be expected to do about 4.5 hours per subject per week. Now, in order to do that demanding work, we need to provide you, don't we, with some fantastic learning spaces, which we do. Now, we know that some of you will want to work together with your friends and others will want to work in silence, and both of those things are possible in college. We also have Wi-Fi everywhere, so you can bring your own device if you want to, or you can check out a laptop or book a Mac or a PC in the library. Next slide, please. So Long Road has a very long, get the pun, very long successful track record of helping students achieve their very best. What I'd urge you to do is to have a look at our most recent Ofsted report, and it really is recent compared to many other colleges round about. Ofsted came, the inspectors came and they visited us in December 2019, and the report went out there in January 2020. Have a look at that in more detail, but in summary, when the inspectors came, they were really impressed with the quality of student work, their resilience, and indeed their ambition. Now, one of the reasons why our students are fantastically successful is that you've been finding out about that tonight, because you've been hearing from our fabulous teachers. Now, what helps them stand apart really is they are really specialist in their subjects. They're experts in their subjects. In fact, many of them are examiners. If I give you an example, just thinking about the chemistry department, all of them have PhDs. So they really know their stuff. That's one thing. The other important difference about coming to a long range sixth form college is our teachers can focus. So they don't have to teach a year 7 class, a year 10 back to A level and everything in between. They can really specialise in this 16 to 19 age group. So they really know how to help you be successful in their courses. Now you can see there, one of the questions we often get asked is how big are the classes? Our maximum tends to be 24. The average, as you can see, which is probably smaller than many of your school classes, the average is about 19, and actually many of our other classes, many classes actually, are smaller than that. Now we also have some specialist facilities, because that's really important to support the rich programme, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute. So we have dance studios, dark rooms, digital media and animation suites, and of course our all-weather sports pitches. We'll talk about sport a little bit later. Next slide, please, Steve. Now we know that people listening out there, many students, they can't wait to come and experience this freedom, this level of independence, absolutely. But we also know lots of students are a little bit worried or feel daunted about this move from the school that they've known for a long time to this college environment. You know, will I fit in? Will I make friends? Will I actually be able to cope with this level of work? Absolutely, we understand that. So every student is allocated a progress coach. And a progress coach is a bit like the form tutors that you've had at school, and they will track your individual progress, meet you individually and support you. And they also run group sessions so that you can get to know other students and really get into long road life. Now, other ways that we support you to settle quickly, we've got a very friendly, and some of you might have attended their session this evening, we've got a very friendly, knowledgeable academic support team, and they're to help you with all kinds of other learning needs, dyslexia, dyscalculia, all kinds of other things. We've got a team of counsellors, we run well-being events, and I think that's Dylan the therapy dog, which I have to be honest hasn't been visiting in the last few months, but we hope to have him back very soon. And the last thing I think that's important about supporting you to make the transition is your parents and carers. So just like school, our relationship with your parents and carers is really important. We work in partnership with them to help you succeed. So we'll be sending reports home. We hold parents' evenings just the same. Your parents will have a 24-hour login to be able to see what your progress, your attendance is at any point. Because what's really important, just to underline that again, we know that you're an emerging adult, absolutely, you're becoming yourself, but you're not fully formed yet, and we need to work with your parents to support you. Okay, next slide, please, Steve. Okay, so what can you study? Right, well, one of the things I suppose I want to say is, this one slide encapsulates what we can offer at Long Road, but I would urge you to have a look at everything we've got on the website, because we've got lots of rich resources there for you to have a look at, course leaflets, videos, all kinds of things. But what you can see looking at this slide is most of what we offer is at level 3. So you're looking at the A levels and the diplomas there, but we also have a level 2 pathway. Things might not have gone swimmingly at school, and we also offer a brilliant level 4 art foundation course. So if we just come back to the middle there and look at the A-levels and diplomas for a minute, I suppose the first thing I'd want to highlight to you is there's a really rich list of subjects there. Some of them you won't have been able to do at school, and they're fantastic. Things like, psychology, film studies, economics, and lots of other ones. So in summary, an A-level is a 2-year course with the exams all at the end, and some of them have 20% of a little bit of coursework. The diplomas do have exams as well, but they're exams that you can resit, and they're also courses which are made up of units, and it's continuous assessment throughout the course. And Steve might say a little bit more when we get to the FAQs at the end. If you could put the next slide on, please. So this rather dotty slide highlights something else, which is that you could come to Longroad and just do A-levels, 3 A-levels, politics, history, and French, for example. Or you could do an extended diploma, so you could just do a full extended diploma in art, for example. Or you could do a mixture of both. And if you're sitting there looking at those dots thinking, oh, I don't understand that, don't worry. Do have a read of this prospectus where we say a little bit more about how these combinations work. Once you've applied to us and we invite you to your admissions interview, then we'll talk to you individually about what your career aims are and look at what the right programme is for you. If you've got any questions at all, do send them to the admissions department. I'm also going to give you another address a little bit later at the end of this presentation. So next slide, please, Steve. Right, this is a reminder to tell you that we really do encourage all our students to aim high. So we run a specialist programme for students who are trying to get into competitive courses, Oxbridge and all kinds of other ones. And of course, those wanting to study medicine, our Med Squad. And what we provide those different groups with are expert speakers. We get the universities to come in and explain about the admissions process, practice for the tests, exam prep, interview, all that kind of stuff. I'm so pleased to say that we've got 3 doctors in training and a vet, so we know it works. Next slide, please. Right, we talked before, earlier, I was saying we are just so lucky because we are on the edge, as we know, of the biomedical campus with AstraZeneca looming over us. And one of the things that we would really encourage all our students to do when they come and study with us is to participate in our rich extracurricular, supercurricular opportunities. So that could be all kinds of projects that we got involved in with local employers, and it's also work experience, and we've been working recently with ARM, Adam Brooks, Marshalls, and we'd also encourage you to volunteer as well. Next slide, please, Steve. And I'm really proud of the fact that many of our students have continued through the pandemic in both in-person and online to continue their volunteering work. So you have an opportunity to do that too if you come and study with us. Next slide, please. Maybe sports more your thing, and if it is, then you can come and take advantage in a whole load of different sporting opportunities. We have got some fabulous facilities, but you could, for example, play competitively and participate in the Cambridge University Football League or the Association of College Competitions, where we're competing against colleges all around the country, or simply have a friendly game. And as I said earlier, we've got some great facilities, including a gym. Next slide, please, Steve. Right, what we're looking at there, when Ofsted came to visit, and of course you never know when they're coming, they just pop in, this is what was happening in that week. And what I think that shows you is just what a rich collection of opportunities students have. And you can see some student groups there. And I suppose I would also underline to you that we have a raft of student initiated groups. And if and when you start with us, you find that there's a group missing, you really want to start the Tiddlywinks Club or whatever it might be, then we will support you to do just that. Okay, next slide, please, Steve. From the moment that we meet you, and that could be tonight, what we're trying to do is to find out what your interests are, what your dreams are, and we want to help you reach that goal. And what we know as we're talking to you now is that some of you will have very clear ambitions. I want to be a doctor or study architecture. Others of you are sort of debating between several options, and some of you are out there thinking, I haven't a clue yet what I want to do. That's okay, because when you come and you start with us, we've got a really good team of careers advisors. In fact, all our progress coaches are trained careers advisors too. And what we provide individually to each one of you, as well as collectively through careers, fairs, apprenticeship events, and all kinds of other things, is impartial advice and guidance to help you navigate your way through what is a very complicated set of choices. Next slide, please. So where could this fabulous long road education take you? It's incredibly difficult in a presentation like this to encapsulate that. So what we've done is select just a few students to illustrate some of the options. And here's Saffron, and I wanted to share with you Saffron's journey because Saffron didn't do A-levels. You can see from the screen that Saffron chose the full-time applied science course, and she's now studying an incredibly sought after, really difficult to get into degree apprenticeship in bioinformatics. And that illustrates two things, that the applied science course is a fabulous one, and actually here in Cambridge we've got opportunities that other people around the country don't have, and our students following these brilliant courses can grab them. Next slide, please. Now, Alex has taken a more traditional route, and we've got lots of students who take this route, which is to study A-levels and go off to university, and Alex is currently studying English literature at the University of Liverpool. And the next slide, please. Here's Kez. Now, I've chosen Kez really to talk to you tonight for two reasons. The first, I'm really proud because also Kez took part in the Oxbridge preparation course, and here she is at Worcester College, Oxford, fabulous, studying fine art. She's absolutely loving it. But the other reason I wanted to pick out Kez is that Kez didn't do A-levels. She studied a full-time course, the Applied Learning and Extended Diploma in Art and Design. Now, we are often asked, Steve and I, can I go to a good university if I study applied courses with my A-levels or just study applied courses? The answer to that is a resounding yes. Not only can you go to a good university, as Kez illustrates, you can go to the #1 ranked university. Next slide, please. And my last student tonight is Charlotte. Now, I picked Charlotte because Charlotte is in fact illustrating to you that we are ambitious for every single one of you, and we want to support your ambitions, whatever they may be. Charlotte is in fact the first in her family to go to university, and she's now studying politics in the US. I mean, what an amazing time to be studying politics in America. Quite an interesting time, I'm sure. And I emailed Charlotte and said to her, how are you going? She actually has her own blog, and she sent me those most recent pictures of her celebrating with her friends. So there's Charlotte, politician in the making. And the next slide, please. So the last little slides from me before I hand over to Steve are to highlight our application process and a few other bits and bobs. So Once you apply to us, and you decide you want to come and study at Longroad, we will invite you to come and see that magical woodland and come for a welcome day where you'll taste the subjects that you've chosen. And we really, really hope this year it's going to be on site as in previous years. If that proves not possible, don't worry, we will have an exciting online version. We're also going to be doing in June of this year, I hope, we'll be running our usual open evenings where you can come around the college, meet the teachers, find out about it. And that's really geared at year 10s, but you'd be welcome to come as well. Absolutely. Next slide, please. There we are, it's a bit slow. And yeah, slight pause, a moment of terror. Is it going to freeze? So the key point to take on that slide is, of course, that you need to get your applications in, please, by the 12th of January. That would be brilliant. Once we've got those, then we can schedule an admissions talk with you, and you can come in and we can give you that individual advice and guidance about the course that's right for you. And what you'll see right at the bottom of that slide there, it says if you've got any questions at all about anything connected with studying at Longroad, obviously, then send us an email to openevening@longroad.ac.uk. So I'm going to hand over now for the last few minutes to Steve, who's going to answer our frequently asked questions.
Hi everyone, lovely to see you all, and thank you very much, Yolanda. So I'm just going to run through a few questions that we tend to get at open evenings, and these are ones that have been asked at different online events that we've done this term already. Just going back to Yolanda's slide about the curriculum and the different subjects you can take, quite often get people ask about the diplomas and what's the difference between a BTEC that we've heard about and a diploma. BTEC is an exam board, basically. It's Pearson and their exams or their qualifications are called BTECs, but we also do OCR, which call themselves Cambridge Technicals, sometimes called CTECs, but Cambridge Technicals, BTECs, they're just different exam boards offering the applied subjects. We just call them diplomas to make it easier and separate them out from the A levels. The important thing, as you saw from Yolanda's slide, was remembering that there are different sizes of those diplomas. Extended diplomas, which are the size of 3 A levels, diplomas, which is the same as 2 A levels, and the extended certificates, which are the size of an A level. And we always say, look, those qualifications, they're equal, they get the same UCAS points. In terms of if you get a distinction star, that's the same UCAS points as an A star in an A level. And then people say, what is a UCAS point, Steve? Well, a UCAS point is just a way that universities try to compare different qualifications, because universities see huge numbers of qualifications. So they're seeing Scottish Highers, they're seeing maybe international qualifications, they're seeing all sorts. So they use what they call a tariff, a UCAS tariff, to try to show what equivalent grades are all these different qualifications. What we would always advise is that when you come to Longroad, when you make your application and have those discussions, that you do a little bit of research into that next step about going to university. So have a look at some courses and look at the sorts of grades they want and whether there are any particular subjects that they're after. Lots of courses at university don't have any particular subjects they're interested in. Some, however, do. And you'd find it hard to progress if you've chosen the wrong ones or the wrong combination. So we'd always say check a few of them out. They're all very, very different. There's a huge range. Some of them will talk about grades, some of them will talk about UCAS points, some of them will talk about particular subjects, others don't. So another question that we get asked is, so how many subjects do I have to take or can I take at Longroad? So you need to take 3 subjects of A-level size. So that's the sort of standard program of study. So either 3 A levels or an extended diploma, or a diploma plus an A level, or plus an extended certificate, but the equivalent of 3 A levels in size. People say, can I take 4? Because I'm not quite sure which one to choose between. We would advise against doing that, and only being able to do that if you've got really, really strong GCSE results, and it might include something like further maths alongside maths. So that can be a popular one, but in general, you really want to go for a really strong, cohesive set of qualifications to make up your study program. And really, you know, if you feel that you've got additional time beyond all of that study that's going to take, use it for something else that's going to enrich your study program, whether that's work experience or volunteering that Yolanda's talked about, something beyond the sort of formal qualifications that gives you that extra something to apply for those courses, you know, whether they're in the States or anywhere else. So the extended project is an additional qualification that you can take. And we often get asked, do you have to take it? We know that there are some places where you have to take the extended project. We don't make all students take the extended project. It's an optional qualification that you can do in addition to your main study program. Students apply to do it at the end of year 1, or towards the end of year 1, and aim to complete it sort of in the middle part of year 2, so it doesn't interfere with their other subjects. What is it? Well, it's a qualification that's the size of a half an A level in terms of UCAS points, and universities really like it because it shows a huge amount of independence, resilience, sort of thinking about how you learn, and you can do it on any topic that you like. So you can choose what you do that project on, and you can choose the format as well, whether it's a dissertation or an artifact or a performance or a piece of research. Students really enjoy it. It isn't easy, and it's something, as I say, that universities and employers really value, and you get a lot from, but you don't have to take it. Grades for entry. Now, all of our subjects have got different requirements in terms of the grades for entry, and we set our entry criteria based on the skills and the qualities that we think you need to be successful on those courses. That's why they're there. So we want to make sure that everyone's got the best chance of success. So if you have got GCSEs that show really good strengths in essay writing and written language, then that shows good skills for moving on to those sorts of subjects at level 3, for example. So do check our prospectus as exactly what is required for each of those subjects. So what if you don't get the grades that you need, that we give you an offer for, that maybe you're predicted? Does that mean you can't come to Long Road? No, not at all. What it means is we would have a conversation with you at the enrolment time when you've got those results, and we can change your study program accordingly. You might have done much better than you were predicted and think, actually, I want to do these subjects now. We can have that conversation. You might have done a little bit worse and say, oh, I can't actually do the subject that I put down. We'll have a conversation with you about a different study program. Don't assume that offer is the only thing we're going to let you do. That's not the case. Okay, I think that's pretty much me out of time. We really want to see you. We want to have those conversations. We want to discuss your exciting study program with you, and the only way we can do that is if you apply. So please apply, and then we can have those conversations. I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm sure Yolanda is going to say goodbye as well.
Thank you very much for listening.